guys, welcome to You the Boss podcast, episode 8. I'm your host, Pam. I just always like to start out the episodes by saying thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm, more than happy to always have listeners and just kind of anyone I can chat with. Today we're going to be talking about work. And with work, I mean like entrepreneur life, if you're an artist, passion and money maker life, and your personal life. Let's dive right in as usual. Today I kind of want to share some perspective, but also some tips, in case you're struggling and trying to quote unquote have balance. I do want to mention that the tips that I will give or the perspective is ever changing. So what might be working for me right now might become outdated, and same for you. And if you have it all figured out, bless up, I'm happy for you. So I do want to again reiterate that, passion, work, artist, all those are kind of in the same place, because at the end of the day we're doing something for something else, and our personal life is just completely separate. And it's just something that I've been really thinking about in the last year, about kind of how we were living our lives before the pandemic and kind of what some of that has woken up in me. The truth is that as a society, we've kind of glorified overworking and burning ourselves out. And I'm a believer in preventative care with all things. So like you go to the doctor regularly and get a physical and like make sure your blood work is okay, and tweak your food here and there. Make sure you take your supplements, drink water, and sleep. I'm not necessarily a believer in not taking care of your body, of running your body down and then saying, okay, let's take some medicine now and let's just kind of live our life that way. If you know me at all, you know that I actually will try to get my body to fight something naturally before I can take something for it. So getting back to kind of society glorifying us overworking and burning ourselves out and just really like just burning both ends of the candle, and like when that comes in spurts, when that comes in a temporary standpoint, that's healthy and that's okay, because when you go to college for 4 years and you're doing undergrad, and through the semester, at the end of the semester, you're like burnt out studying for a week, and then you just go back to, being normal and sleeping and etc. You can kind of feel the difference in your body then. But again, that is a temporary spurt of overcharge and overdrive, and then you sit back and you treat your body that way. And I think that can be healthy. But when we do that over extended periods of time, where we are just burning ourselves out, where we are overworking and just giving up on those little things in our personal lives, for you that may be seeing family or just getting a massage every couple of months, because who doesn't love a good massage? Some people take being called a workaholic almost like a sense of pride, or saying like, I love money. I don't actually love money. I do like what I can do with money, of course. But again, we get stuck in this workaholic mode where it's like, well, yeah, I'm making money. And it's like, yes, but are you working to live, or are you living to work? And I feel like that's a big thing. It's totally okay to say, you know what, I worked 40 hours at my 9 to 5, and I did an extra like 15 hours in my entrepreneur business this week. So tomorrow we're going to go to dinner, or I'm going to take myself out to dinner tomorrow, or I'm going to get a pedicure, a manicure, a massage. I'm going to get myself a bottle of wine, a bottle of whiskey, bourbon, just to kind of really reward that this week I gave it everything. There's nothing wrong with that. It's, when you're on the flip side and you're kind of overdoing it, that you could be doing yourself a disservice. But we're really going to focus on just creating that balance for yourself. And again, nothing is always in balance. A balanced life is not always a perfect life. You could really be running yourself into the ground if you have quote unquote great balance, which is always things to keep in mind, because great things come with great sacrifice, right? Like, again, getting back to that college example, like it was a temporary 4 or 5 years of just straight school and work, school and work, school and work. If you worked while you were in college, or if you got a college campus job, or if you were just doing performances as an artist, or if you were just in the studio, if you were just scraping pennies together, like, again, these are all different temporary versions of bursts. You know, your reward at the end of that semester was the good grades that you got, and you were working towards your degree, or you were working towards a certain doctorate or something like that. Same thing as a performer. You know, yes, I've spent the last 6 months just working on this choreography, changing it and tweaking it and this and that, and then you get to put this show on and open doors for yourself through this performance, which will lead to more performances and so on and so forth. And just make sure that you are taking the time to really enjoy the flowers. You know, we talk so much about giving the flowers to those that are here in our lives and not waiting until they're dead to give it to them. But what about you? What about giving yourself those flowers? What about saying, you know what? I'm going to get a massage in 2 weeks to really open up, you know, that hard work that I'm about to put in over the next 2 weeks, where I'm going to be working every single day and I'm going to be doing this. And, you know, it's little rewards like that that really kind of get you in that mindset. You know, you want to make sure that you're creating a system for yourself that keeps you organized. And if you're anything like me at all, you probably constantly change the way that you keep yourself organized. You know, for a couple months out of the year, I'm a Google Calendar girl. I love my physical planner. I probably will never let that go. But sometimes my digital calendar is kind of what has the most up-to-date information, because that's just where I'm at that point in time. You know, I'm able to share calendars. I'm able to get calendars. I'm able to send different invites and color coordinate in a faster, at the fingertips kind of way. And like always, like there's a 97% chance that I'll always have my phone in my hand or in my purse or in my pocket. And I don't always have my paper planner with me. So that kind of helps me balance out. You know, you might not care to ever work with a paper planner, or you might not ever care to work with a digital calendar, or you might not have a planner at all. You might be the kind of person that feels like they can memorize everything. I'm here to let you know that that might be great, but you should definitely still always try to keep your system a little bit upgraded, a little bit tweaked. And the reason I say that is because just because it worked 10 years ago doesn't mean that it works now. And that goes with anything that stays exactly the same over the course of time. And you want to make sure that you're scheduling regular maintenance for yourself. Like me, for example, pre-pandemic, I would work my 9 to 5. I would take care of my network marketing business. And then I would, whatever after that is when I would schedule time with family. And I was doing that for years, almost 10 years. And then the pandemic hit, and all I had was work and time. And I realized that I wasn't making enough time for my chosen family, as well as the family that I do keep in contact with. And so even though I have been working, and even though there's been some type of a different kind of standpoint throughout this time, I've really started to say, you know what, I definitely want to schedule going to my brother's house in a couple of weeks, doing like a Sunday dinner or a Saturday dinner, and we get together, I'll bring my mom, and like if that's a FaceTime call, if that's a Zoom call, like so be it. But don't put those things off. And the reason that you don't want to do that is because you're still a person, right? Like if you are an entrepreneur and your life is just doing the different projects that you have, and you're not making time for family, you're not making time for friends, then what are you doing this for? Who are you sharing these things with? Yes, ultimately, in myself as an example, ultimately, yes, I want financial freedom. I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, without money being a question. I want choices. That's my ultimate goal. That is my current definition of success, right? But if I'm constantly just working business, and not giving myself that chance to be with my friends and family, picking up the phone and making a call that isn't necessarily scheduled. And for some time, it may be a scheduled phone call on Fridays with one of my brothers and one of my girlfriends who I talk to. Let's say I talk to her every day on the phone for 15, 20 minutes, maybe even an hour, making sure that, yes, I'm still being a human being and I'm filling myself by getting regular massages, pedicures, and sometimes maintenance, as I'm kind of labeling it in this episode. Maintenance to yourself is just literally like sitting in your car for 20 minutes when you get home after a long day, so that you can go upstairs and clean up and get ready for the next day. Sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's, you know what, I'm at a point right now where I haven't had a massage since 2 years ago. Like, I've been putting it off and I need to not do that. And then it's like, no, you need to pick up the phone right now and schedule that massage and just put it on your calendar and keep going, because if you schedule it for yourself, then it's done. What's done is done. You've already made it for yourself. You've already put yourself in there. And I also want to kind of mention that, like, the way that you can quickly undo this is kind of like trying to go out of your means and living your life like out of a way where you don't have the money to sustain yourself. And you don't want to put yourself in that position, because then it's like, again, are you working to live or are you living to work? Are you taking care of yourself so that you can go back to work, or are you going to work so that you can do what you want with the money that you make there? Again, you want to create a system for yourself. So I'm going to give you, for me, I sit down, pre-pandemic, it was different. Right now, this is the system I have, where I sit down usually Saturday night, somewhere between Saturday night and early Monday morning, and I'll go over my calendar. What are the things, like, where do I need to be this week? Whether it's take my mom to an appointment, take myself to an appointment, or hang out with one of my girls via Zoom or not. And then I go in and say, okay, I got to be at work between these hours. And then that day I'll do this. That day I'll do that. That weekend, you know what? I don't want to clean Saturday. So by the time it's like Thursday or Friday, I want to make sure I clean and do the laundry. So Saturday, me and hubby can spend time together and like wash my hands of that. I also, again, I'm still on my paper calendar, which I haven't touched as much because I haven't been working out of the house. I haven't been going physically to different network marketing get-togethers and stuff like that. So a lot of things are still digital for me, but I do go in and I have an organization app that I write things down, and I have it split up into different lists. So I have wedding stuff, wedding planning stuff going on. I have podcast things I have separated. I have stuff to clean around the house. I have stuff that, needs to get done, whether that's like any kind of legal paperwork, my taxes, those kinds of things. And this system works for me. I use the reminders religiously on my phone. I set up different alarms, and most of the time you think to yourself like, oh, like, I can remember that though. Like, obviously if I need to get it done, like I can remember it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I have an elephant's memory. But that's not how that goes. When you get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and you don't go to bed till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, you're running, a 14, 15 hour day, and there's so many things happening and so many pots boiling and all these different things that you're bound to forget something, and that something that you forget could be something important. So you want to make sure that, as well as you have a schedule for work every week, you want to make sure that you schedule time in there where, this week, I want to do 2 days of doing an intense chemical mask on my face. No matter how the day starts, whatever the case, on Wednesday and Saturday night, I'm going to do my mask. I'm going to extra exfoliate. I'm going to exfoliate head to toe that day. I'm going to put a hair mask in. And no matter what happens that day, that's on my schedule. And the reason that you want to schedule those things out for yourself, because it's like work and going grocery shopping. Like, Those things got to get done so you can kind of keep going. It's the same way that you need to schedule those things for yourself. Speaking on a larger perspective, like maybe for you right now in your budget, you can't get a massage once a week. It's a little pricey, not on your budget. Great. So book it out once a quarter. Once a quarter, go to the spa, get a facial, make sure you get a massage, and keep going about your time. Here's why. The reason that that's important is because the pandemic has taught me. I hope that you feel the same or that you have some version thereof. But the pandemic has taught me that working until I get a vacation or working until, I get to where I want to be is not necessarily a bad thing. But you want to make sure that you're feeding who you are too. It doesn't matter if you're debt free by the time you're 35 and you own a house and you have all the cars you've ever dreamed of. That doesn't matter, because if you're not watering and feeding your soil, you as a flower, then you may not be here to enjoy it. In the same way that we need to make sure we are nurturing the relationships in our lives and make sure we are giving the flowers to the people in our lives while they are here so that they know they are loved and cared for before they are called to the other side. We need to remember that that's the same for us. If this weekend you decide that you're going to go out partying and you're going to do this and you're going to do that, and let's say you want to start that Friday, your Sunday through Thursday night should be full of the things that you need to get done, the things that water your art, your career, your passion. You want to make sure you take care of yourself. And then you go out this weekend, Friday through Saturday night, and have brunch and have those drinks and have fun because you've earned it. Because this week you accomplished what you needed to do. And you want to make sure that you're taking care of all the things that need to get done that are going to put you where you want to be, and that you're also taking care of your personal life. That you are getting that socialization in with friends and family, even if it's virtually right now. That you are watering the soil that you are in to continue growing. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you've achieved, how much money you can put in the bank, how much of anything, if you essentially wash it all out because you didn't take care of you. In closing, I'm here to just remind you again that taking breaks is not just at work. Taking PTO is not just at work. Setting breaks for yourself is essential. It's important. If Saturday you're going to clean the house from 9 a.m., make sure you have breakfast from 9 a.m. till about 1:30 p.m. You're just going to go nonstop. Make sure that at 1:30, no matter what, you stop, make lunch, eat lunch. And the reason that you want to do that is because when you wear yourself down and you overwork yourself, it might not feel like much. You're like, oh, it's fine. I got to do what I have to do. I have to run. I have to get this done. I have to get this done. And when you're in the hospital and something's the matter with you, the world keeps spinning. So make sure that the life that you are building is not just one where you can say, but look at all the things I did. Make sure that you're feeding your personal life and make sure that you're feeding you. Make sure that you set yourself up for success. Set boundaries, which we will come to talk to in a couple of weeks. Set yourself up for success, but make sure that the self that you're setting up is the self that you want to be. Thank you so much for listening. Come back again next week for another episode of You the Boss podcast.